Back again. D5m. Just noticed the other day, be sure when you're working on, I've got jack stands, which they're on a slope, they could slide, so I put these tires. That block goes all the way back through there and hits, you can see it's all the way back. So I'd have to crush a lot of things. You never trust and don't try this at home. I'm not telling people to do it this way. I'm just telling you I try to be as safe as possible 2 or 3 different ways. The hoist cylinders probably wouldn't fail. It sure can't crush all these tires down, I don't think, and a set of jack stands, 6-ton jack stands on each side. So I just try to be as safe as possible. But what we've got here, this pin right here, you can see how close that barrel is to that mounting point. Yeah, this one is good. Now look how close. Yeah, I can stick my finger in that one. It's probably got a little wire in it, but what we've got is just got off a job site and I pulled it in here and put the floor mat and stuff in. You guys seen that video, but when I set it on the ground. I know we're gonna have to replace this later. You can see it's busted out, but this whole thing gets welded in, so I'm not bothered too much by wallering it a little bit until I can make a little money with it. But this cylinder, when I was moving it and watching it from the cab, these hoses here were just like moving a lot, and I was like, that looks odd right in here. These hoses route around, so I was like, something's going on. So I watched it more, and this gap right here, I mean, it's probably got that much play in it. So either the whole rod eye's busted out or something, but we're getting ready to tear into it and see what it looks like. I'll check back in with you. Now here's what happened. This is why you check it out. You see that? It's hard to see. There we go. See, you can see the snap ring. See if I can do this. Drop the snap. There's the snap ring. Right there. You can see it. There's the bearing. Here is the inside of the bearing, and I'll show you a new one, but there's a whole circular piece and it kind of swivels inside there. So from what I can tell is the swivel part's busted, except the race is still right here, so it didn't waller this eye out. If this eye gets wallowed out, you have to take the entire cylinder off to a machine shop, and I'm not sure that you couldn't run the rod all the way to the end of its stroke fully out and get away with welding this eye, but most of the time they want to disassemble the cylinder and stuff because it gets really hot. So the good thing is I think we'll have a time beating this snap ring out probably, but we'll get this snap ring out. You got this bearing race, it'll just fall out or beat out, it's broken up. But this is why, I guess, when you notice something on an older machine, just even if it looks horrible, because it looked bad, even if it looks horrible, go ahead and take it apart before you get all tore up and see what's going on, because sometimes just a bushing and a pin will fix it, But you can see down in there, we started to run it one more project, but you see how it's crumbling? It's like, there it is, it's focused. You're basically like, if that crumbled out, it starts beating against the eye, and you could go from not needing anything but a bearing to needing a complete a bore of an eye re-welded. You can't hardly just weld one little tiny spot. So we'll check back in. I gotta get a parts order. It might be a day or so because this is Saturday. They usually get parts pretty quick though at the cat house, so we'll get some parts ordered. Here is the pin. Definitely don't want to use that back, but I've seen way worse. But this one These pins and bushings from Caterpillar are tough. I mean, some of them break up and fail. Everybody's got bad parts at some point. You know, you'll have a great machine and there'll be one bushing that busts all the time. People will say it's junk, but these are pretty tough old machines. I could have kept running that and watered the whole eye out of it. I mean, I got 1,000 hours out of it, but it's not worth it. I mean, this pin's probably $70 or $80, and that bearing's going to be probably $150 or something. But you're talking about $300 compared to maybe having to take the cylinder apart, take it to a machine shop, be down for a week if they even can get you in, and once all that's over with, you got $1,500, $2,000, and you still have the old cylinder and just a new seal kit inside. You know, it's you almost might could buy a new cylinder for $3,500. I don't know. So definitely good news. We'll get this put back together. I'll give you an update on it when I get the new parts. Thank you. All right, we got our parts in. We got our bearing out. A little bit of galding right here and right here, but we'll put a little retaining compound around it and it ought to hold it. I'm not going to replace the entire barrel from what I've seen. Here is the bearing. There's your snap rings. This is the inner part, the swivel part. Then here's the big race that goes around it. It just busted out, so it was time. This grease fitting, here it is. Not sure that one's been used much. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. It goes right there. I'm not sure that one got used much, but I tapped it out. It's 1/8 inch MPT threads. Clean the bore out. Grease can go through. And thought about replacing that elbow, but it's on there. It's not leaking, and they couldn't find it on the parts breakdown. I need to go on to the job. This seal's good here, so we're good with that. Both of them seals. How I tell on the seals is you stick your finger over it. You gotta, if it feels like flat, you want to feel like a bump. You can see it sticking. It needs to protrude out. You can kind of see it right there. You can see it sticking out. When it does that, you're good. We usually rub our finger across it there. If you can tell, like when they're flat, you almost can't even feel no seal there. But I got the new bearing in the freezer. I'm gonna heat this up, and hopefully it'll slide in there. It shouldn't be horrible. You put one snap ring on the back side, slide the bearing in there, and then put this snap ring on. Let's see how it goes. Well, it surprisingly went well. Here's the wobble part. They call it, I don't know, self-aligning bearing. Here's the new pin. Everything fits good. New grease fitting. New snap ring on both sides. I will say, which, here's the thing. I had this in the freezer. I heated this up with a little butane torch. I still don't think it should have went in as easy as it did, even though, you know, I heated one and froze the other. But I'm going to say, you know, with a little bit of this retaining compound, that's about what this is made for. So we should get a little life out of that, and maybe when I down this machine later on for the big repairs on the blade and the C-frame, I'd like the machine to earn its money for a while. So once it does, I may take these cylinders off, have them repacked, and do that big center pin right here and stuff, and do that after it works this summer or gets a season or so out of it. And we, you know, if it'll pay for it, we'll do it. I'm happy with it. I didn't have to pack it in. I got it up there, you know, and had this flipped up. Had one snap ring in the back, and I put it up there and wiggled it a little bit and tapped it, and it just kind of just went. You didn't have to hit it or nothing really. If I'd have got it lined up right, it might have went by itself. But I don't know how tight fit they are from factory because they have snap rings on them. They could work out. So I guess we will see what happens. I'll keep you updated. We got some retaining compound and 2 good snap rings, and it was more wear here and here, but it still had pieces of the bearing all the way around it. So I'm not going to say there wasn't any wire where it beat back and forth, but it was minute. So we'll see how it goes. If it don't work, we'll do it again. We got her fixed. Get this back together. Line. All I gotta do is put the cover back on. These bolts were kind of rounded off, so Caterpillar does really good with their bolts. They're always right in the parts breakdown. Stuff's pretty easy to get the bolts when you're looking at the bearings and stuff. So I went ahead and got that. And that pin, it just floats. You stick it in right there and put that cap over it. Everything worked good. I just wiggled it back and forth. We put some shims back. We got 3 and 3. Moves like it should. Get it out on a job site.